Hi and welcome back. In this video we're going to see how to set up our sitemap script for our website. And the specific sitemap script that we're going to be using is from my site, and if you just go to timothyseo.net and scroll down a little bit, you will see our sitemap generator script right here. Now once you download that, you're going to go ahead and uninstall it, or unzip the file, and you'll come up with a folder just like this. And inside of that folder you're going to see the PHP script called Sitemap Creator. And we're just simply going to copy that and paste it into our website folder. So I'm going to right click on that and copy it. And then I'm going to go into, here's our sample website, and then I'm going to right click and paste, and there's the Sitemap Creator script. Now I'm going to actually use Dreamweaver to go in and put my domain name into the Sitemap script, but you can use any web editing software that you want, whatever you're using to create your website, Expression Web, Sublime Text, doesn't matter. We're just using Dreamweaver here as our example. So here I am in Dreamweaver, and here's my files panel. And there is the Sitemap Creator script right there. And if you don't see it in your list of files, just hit the refresh button and you'll see it appear right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and double click on that and open it on up. Now the only thing that you need to do is enter your domain name in right here. And I'm going to go ahead and change this. We've been working with the site Simple Clean Web. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to simplecleanweb.com. And I've got a trailing slash there. That actually is important. And the http:// at the beginning is also important. You need to have the full domain name here. And if you have any question about what it is, just simply go ahead and look at it in a browser, and you can copy and paste it. And actually I noticed I put in .com, and this is actually a .net site, so I need to go ahead and change that there. Once you've got your domain name in, you're all set to go. That's the only real configuration you need to do. Down here you're going to notice there's a couple of file mask variables, and basically what this sitemap script is going to do is it's going to find any page in your site that ends in .html or .htm, and it's going to include that in your sitemap. Now if you also have PHP pages in your website that you want included in your sitemap, you could simply copy this and paste it in and change that to PHP just like that, and it will pick that up. But in our case we just have HTML files, so I'm going to leave that alone. So once I've got my domain name set here, I'm going to go ahead and save that and close it. And we're now ready to just go ahead and upload the script to our server. And again, whatever software you're using, you just need to put this file to your server. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on that and select Put in Dreamweaver. And I'm going to say yes to dependent files there, and it'll upload it. And in Dreamweaver you can take a look at your server by going to Remote Server here, and Expression Web and many other programs have a similar feature, and you'll see Sitemap Creator.php has been uploaded. Also notice that right now there is no other sitemap files in here. Or I shouldn't say there are no sitemap files in here. No sitemap.xml, sitemap.html, or url.txt. And those are the files that this script is actually going to go ahead and create. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my website, and the second step is you actually just need to activate the script and tell it create my sitemaps. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, in any browser, I'm using Chrome here. You can use Firefox, Internet Explorer, doesn't matter. I'm just going to put a slash in and sitemapcreator.php. And remember, the C is capital there. And when you do that, you're going to come to this window right here. And you're going to see a couple of different options that you can set at this point. And unless you have a reason to change the starting priority, leave this alone at 70 and the script will figure out exactly what it needs to be. Change frequency can either be daily, weekly, or monthly. That's how often you update your website. I'm going to go ahead and select weekly from that. And that's basically telling search engines, come back about once a week and check for updates to my website. Once you've done that, you'll just simply click Generate Sitemap here, and you should see that the sitemap has been successfully created. And here it says that 21 files have been found and indexed in my site, and you can see those files right up here, those sitemap files that were created. And again, you've got an XML version for Google and Bing, a URL, list.txt, a text version for Yahoo, and then an HTML version for all search engines. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back into Dreamweaver here and go back into my Files panel. Now, again, in Dreamweaver, sometimes you need to refresh your file list. Whatever program you're using, you're just going to go ahead and hit the refresh button, and you should see those files have been created. And there's URL, list.txt, sitemap.xml, and sitemap.html. And you can go ahead and open up these files and take a look at them. For example, I'll open up sitemap.html, and you can see all the different pages that it's found and placed in your sitemap, along with the titles. And obviously, before you did this, and we talked about this in an earlier video, you would want to go in and set up your title tags and all of your meta tags for your descriptions and keywords before you actually do that. And one of the reasons why I didn't do that is that when you look at the HTML version of your sitemap, one of the things that's great about this sitemap script is that it places the title, probably the most important SEO element on your page, into your HTML sitemap. And here I can see, with the exception of just this one lone page, every single page of my website has the same title. So that's actually a mistake that you would need to go and correct. So that's a very useful thing. You can check for duplicate title names in your sitemap file. And you can also go through and make sure that all the pages that you want included in your sitemap actually were found, and that if there were pages you didn't want to include in your sitemap, you can make sure that they are not listed here in your sitemap. And basically, and again, we talked about this in an earlier video, every one of your pages needs to have search engine meta tags installed in them. And if I open up my index page here, you can see on this page I actually have my index follow tag set up. So the sitemap generator knew okay, this is a page that we want to include in the sitemap. If I go ahead and open up about.html and look at this, you can see I actually don't have index tags. I have these no index tags set up inside of my page. And if the Sitemap Script generator finds these tags on your page, it's going to know this isn't a page to include in the sitemap. And again, this is the about.html file here. And let's go ahead and take a look at sitemap.html. And you can see here, if I look down the list of my pages, about has been omitted from the sitemap. So very important, make sure you get those meta tags set up on every single page in your website. That's very, very important to do. So now you've got these three sitemaps successfully set up on your website. And the last thing that you need to go ahead and do is you need to tell Google and Bing Webmaster Tools that, hey, I created a sitemap, go ahead and download it and use that to index my website. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my Webmaster Tools account, and again, in an earlier video we saw how to set up that account. And here's the sitemap section, and if there's not a link right here for that, again, I'm in the profile for my website, but if there's not a link for submitting a sitemap over here, you can find a link over here somewhere that will allow you to submit a sitemap. In this case, it's underneath crawl and sitemaps. And at this point, when you click on sitemaps, you're going to see a button right here for add test sitemap. And if I click on that, a little pop-up is going to appear with my domain name. And I just need to go ahead and place the name of my sitemap in here, which again is sitemap.xml. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click Test Sitemap. And when you do that, it's going to take just a moment, depending upon how many pages you actually have in your site. But eventually it's going to say Test Complete, and then you can view the test results. And you can see 21 pages were submitted, and that's lines up with what the script generator told us earlier. You can see 21 files were found and indexed. And you can also see here that, and this is critically important, and the reason why you test, it says error details here, no errors found. Now, I'm going to click on Close Sitemap Test here, and you're going to see it says you still have not submitted any sitemaps for your site. And that's true. You just tested it before you submitted it, because you don't want to submit a sitemap that has errors inside of it to Google or Bing. So now I'm going to click Add Test Sitemap again, type that same file name in, sitemap.xml, and then click Submit Site. And it should show you that the sitemap was successfully submitted here. And when I refresh the page, you're going to see it tells you 21 pages were submitted. Now, right now it says 2 indexed, because at a previous time, Google actually came and found my site and indexed a couple of the pages. But you're probably going to see it says 0 indexed right here. But shortly, probably within a few weeks, you're going to see that Google comes and visits your website, and it will tell you how many pages it actually indexed. Now, Google and Bing are not going to, or they usually don't index every single page on your website. Usually, if you submit maybe 21 websites, you're going to get 18 or 19 indexed. Nobody knows exactly why Google does or doesn't index some pages and it does index others. For some people, you will get 21 submitted and 21 indexed. But don't be alarmed if Google doesn't index every single page in your site. Over time, Google will probably index the few pages that it doesn't initially index. But at first, don't be alarmed if you only get 80 or 90% of your pages indexed. If after a while it says 21 submitted here and 2 indexed, then there probably is some sort of a problem on your website. There wasn't an error in your sitemap. You know that because Google told you that it didn't find any errors in your sitemap. But you probably need to go look at your pages and make sure that there isn't any filler text or spam content that you've inadvertently left on there that might make Google think, okay, this isn't a real website. And when I talk about filler text, what I'm basically talking about, if we go to my website here, simpleclean.net, you can see this filler text that I use in my templates. You know, if this was a real website, obviously this wouldn't be filler text. It would be real text. And if Google finds this filler text in here, it's going to assume that that's not a complete page, and it's not going to index your pages. So make sure that you remove any filler text if you're using a template and replace it with the real text for your website. So that's all you need to do to create and submit sitemaps for your website. And again, we did this for Google Webmaster Tools. At a later video, we'll talk about Bing Webmaster Tools, but it's very similar to setting something up in Google Webmaster Tools. Remember, you don't actually need to submit URL list.txt to Yahoo. Yahoo, when it comes into your site, it will automatically look for and find that URL list.txt. You want to make sure, absolutely sure, that you leave the name alone and that you don't change that, though, because Yahoo's going to look for that specific file on your website. And the same thing is true also for sitemap.xml and sitemap.html. You should leave the names of those alone as well. But as far as Google and Bing are concerned, if you put the correct name in here when you actually submit it, it will find it. So you could call your sitemap bob.xml and Google would use it. The problem is when other search engines come, they'll be looking for sitemap.xml, not Bob or something else .xml. So leaving those files named that is important. I will see you in the next video. In the next video, we're going to talk about setting up RSS feeds and ROR sitemaps for your website. So I'll see you in the next video.